All right. Then going back to sharing the screen. So the reason why we record it because we want to make it available for you to revisit again, and for those of you who weren't able to join today. So first I'll start with a short introduction about myself. I don't want to take too much time because I know that some of you have already participated trainings or seminars, but for some of you, you still don't know me, so I think it's appropriate to share a couple of words about me. So I have an MBA degree from Germany, India, and Australia, and I've been into the Лийн world for probably about a little bit more than 10 years now. And I've been very passionate with this, reading books, reading best practices, stories, visiting companies, trying to understand how different companies introduce Лийн thinking into their world. And so part of my background is also data analysis, data visualization in terms of dashboard, automation, different types and we're talking here about mostly back office activities. So this is again something that I feel very confident at. I'm also a certified black belt in Lean Six Sigma, and I have this thing for languages. I really love learning languages. Apart from that, family wife, I have a wife and a kid, 5 years old. Her name is Karina. My wife is Sophie, and I'm very passionate about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's a grappling fighting style, which became very popular through the mixed martial arts. And again, I will share with those of you who wonder how this fits my personality. Oh, the reason why I do exactly this specific sport is that it's the only sport that I have encountered throughout my professional and personal journey where I need to solve problems. So really, you end up in such hard situations. So either you know the solution in this situation while you wrestle, or you need to find your options and to solve a problem that you have. And there are so many options and there are so many problems that you need to solve. And there is always only one best way. So this is one of the favorite topics of Jevdet, talking about standard work. So people usually don't have a standard. So you always have to have a standard. So in order to improve, you need to know where to go. This sport helped me learn a lot also about myself. Next, shortly again about Лийн Institute Bulgaria. We are a part of the Лийн Global Network, same like Лийн Institute Turkey, which Jevdet is representing. We joined the Лийн Global Network back in 2016, and our main purpose is really to help the companies understand what is Лийн, what is continuous improvement, and what are the steps throughout this transformation of the people and of the processes of the company. When I came back from my international experience, I was working for a big management consulting company in Germany. I found out that in Bulgaria, the knowledge is very limited. So it's coming broken into pieces through different companies and Лийн managers who are being trained, and they're not good or something. I believe they're good in specific things, but again, it's a very broken knowledge. So I decided to find a way to bring this knowledge in more consistent way to the companies, and this is how our journey started. And then as part of this journey, we joined the Лийн Global Network, and this is where the capabilities of our company here in Bulgaria grew tremendously. Several things that I would like to share very quickly. Yes, we do offer various types of training and services to companies, assessments of companies where we say what is the health of the companies today. Recently, we did a good, I would say a small assessment of a hospital during COVID. And then the question that I was asked by the head of emergency was, please, Vasil, tell me, are we doing good or not? This was her way of asking me to give her a good, thorough assessment of the processes in the hospital. And it was a particular process related to the COVID triage. And those assessments are extremely valuable because what it looks like is totally different from what it is. So we're doing this again as a service. And of course, last but not least, we're trying to do the implementation that comes as a result of the assessment. we're trying not to be the typical consultants. Why am I saying this? Because the typical consultants, and I come from such a company in my background, are trying to do a lot of work in a particular period of time to show to the customers that they add value. But the way, and this is something that I have been talking also to Jevdet about, the way Лийн Global Network looks at work is more of taking the people on the journey and showing them the way and making them do the work, because that's the way they will learn the work. Coaching them, you know, this is like pulling the people and developing their capabilities within the company, so that when we take a step back at some point, they already know how to do it by themselves. They don't need us anymore. And I think this is extremely valuable. This is the approach that leaves something in the companies, and it's not fragmented, and it's not just to go and do a specific work and then that's it. And last but not least, of course, we do Leen in a Leen way, which means we always listen to the customer need. We're not trying to have one size fits all type of work. Somebody comes, calls us, and then we immediately have a proposal which should fit no matter what. No, this is not the way. We need time to understand what is the necessity, and then we start slowly together with the customer. So this is Leen Institute Bulgaria, and I believe this represents most of these institutes, or should represent all the institutes across Лийн Global Network. Our definition of Leen thinking and practice, and I say our definition, I think it's Leen Global Network definition, but this question will come to Jevdet in a few minutes. So for us, so for Leen Global Network, Leen is an integrated system of processes, work practices, and methods, which is about creating the most value for the customer at minimum cost, achieved by minimizing resources, time, energy, and effort. It's a very comprehensive definition, and it says quite a lot, I believe. And the mission is to make things better by advancing Leen thinking and practice throughout the world. So Leen Global Network was never established with the purpose of making money. The Leen Global Network was established with the purpose of helping organizations succeed on their journeys of continuous improvement. And we are trying hard to continue this, what happened, I believe, about 20 years ago, even more than 20 years ago, since the institutes in USA and UK were founded, the first institutes. And this practice has been followed ever since the first institutes were established. So we have more than 30 countries in the Leen Global Network. We partner together, we meet every year. We have very profound discussions in different work groups, which are all related to the future of Leen globally, with the newest trends, topics like Industry 4.0, topics about Leen digital, Leen product development, and so on. Today, I pointed out on the flags here 2 countries. One is Bulgaria, and Bulgaria is one of the, I would say, new institutes. And on the other side, we have Turkey, which is where Jevdet is the vice president. So Turkey is one of the most mature, I would say, not to use the word old, but one of the most mature institutes in Leen Global Network, with a huge number of people and experience and customers in their database. I believe that having Leen Institute Turkey very close to us has been very beneficial for Bulgaria, and having Jevdet as a mentor, as a coach also to support us was extremely positive experience for the Bulgarian Institute. Very happy for this. And with that, I will move to the next slide, which is about Jevdet. And Jevdet, you don't need to read it. I know you know yourself. This is just for the people to read something. I'm giving the floor to you to introduce yourself, and then hide the slides, and we can start an open discussion.
Thank you, Vasil. Is my voice okay?
It is.
So I'm engineer, actually mechanical engineer. I'm 36 years work history, and I started learning Leen 30 years ago in Toyota. So I stay some years in Japan, and in the last 30 years, I'm still learning Leen, learning and practicing. So in these 36 years, I'm just consultancy. I'm doing consultancy just 11 years. So before I worked professionally in automotive industry in many companies, but mainly in Toyota. So my origin is the product development. I work product development, production, almost in every functions except direct sales and some legal accounting side. So I'm now working with the international consultancy, not only in Turkey. Actually, Turkey is one of the biggest institutes in the whole network, and one of the oldest one as well. But we are working now I'm working in almost in 4 continents. In 2019, of course, I'm talking about. So 2020, everything is different with after COVID. But I worked in last year, I can say I worked 200 days out of Turkey, and he worked in 18 countries, including Bulgaria. Indeed. So that's a short summary, yeah.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Джевдет. So my first question to you would be a very simple question. What is Лийн by definition, the way you learned Лийн when you started your career, if you remember how it was defined back then, and what is Лийн for you today? So I know that things develop through your mind with all the practices, with all the visits in Toyota. You mentioned you have been to Japan over 40 times with different groups. So what is Лийн for you, and emotionally maybe also to share, and what is Лийн by definition?
Actually, Лийн is in the Лийн activities. So what we expect from Лийн, to make all problems, all wastes, all issues, to make them visible. To make them visible anytime when they occur, to make them visible and develop the people who are touching these problems, these wastes, develop the people to solve the problems, and continue this cycle until reaching the perfection. So we don't know where it ends. But so in order to make this one, we must think that problem is good. Because what we learn in Toyota, the first thing is that no problem, big problem.
Indeed.
So that's why make the issues, make the problems, make the waste visible, and develop people to solve them. So that's all what we do in Лийн.
Okay, and would you say that what is the big challenge in Лийн, to put it that way? So is it developing those people, or is it bringing those new methods into practice?
Actually, we have many questions how to make the Лийн, what are the main issues with the Лийн. I think the improving the things are not very difficult. So everybody is learning and trying to improve it. But there are some major difficulties. One of them, and most of them are related with not the physical things. Most of the difficult things are the human and behavior change. Because that's why no problem is big problem. So it's a logical change, then you must accept that I have a problem. So, but it's difficult to accept you have a problem, because you are doing your best to make your job. So changing people's understanding, habits is difficult. Then even when you change, and even you make some physical change and some improvements, how to sustain them. So not only changing people's behaviors, changing management system habits is the main difficulties. That if you can do it, you can change everything.
Yeah. And one more question before we jump into the topic with the cost. There are still people that relate Лийн to Toyota production system, and then when they hear about Лийн, they say, "Oh, this is manufacturing." And even though I have been, sharing quite a lot of information throughout the Лийн community and generally speaking in the different companies, there is still this thinking a little bit. So what would you say, maybe from your experience, about Лийн applied in services, in IT, and out of manufacturing?
So actually, of course, it started in Toyota in production area. The difference between production area and the other areas, production is more visible. Mm-hmm. So easy to make comment, but it doesn't mean all problems are occurring from production. So how do we see the production? Actually, if it's a company, so when you say production, it's not the physical production. So when the product development is a is a kind of production. So you are developing knowledge. You are producing some knowledge. Or if you are an insurance company, you are producing some insurance. Or if you are in a restaurant, you have production. Your production means you are servicing them, you are delivering them. So is not only producing materials, but even in a company. So everywhere we can see the production. Is a IT company. They are producing codes. They are writing and producing codes. So they are doing a production. In a hospital, they have exactly similar production processes. So it's related with how you are seeing it. But even in a production company, so we see, I don't know, think about a big river. A river starts from a small foundation in the top of the mountain, and 1,000 kilometers later, it becomes a big river, and with a big delta, it delivers the water to the sea. So production is the place of this delta. This delta has to deliver the water, which is coming from mountain to the sea. Has no chance. So there are many obstacles. Some trees block the way, it become a little bigger and deliver. So production has no place to escape. So when the order comes, has to deliver to customer in somehow. But it doesn't mean all wastes are in production. So a rock is broken from the mountain, and maybe 100 kilometers flows, then blocks the road, and then delta should become wider, but deliver the water. So when we see the production, we don't see the production, we see the company. And when we see the production, we see your human resources. We see your management system. We understand what kind of people are working in this company. Everything becomes visible in production. Your purchasing system, your management system, your recruitment policies, everything shows their effect as a result in production. But in production is visible. So you can see something, you can say this is good, this is bad. But in your purchasing policy, you cannot see, or sales policy, ordering process, you cannot see easily. But when you can show how it is affecting the results from the blockage in the delta, you can find the problem and you can go to root cause analysis, and you can understand that our purchasing policy approach is a problem, root cause of this problem. So without changing it, you cannot solve it. So it's easy to show in the production, it's easy to convince the production people because everything is visible, but to convince the other process departments, you have to show the results. So that's why we use production to show sales activities, purchasing, design, many other things.
Thank you for this answer. So there is this in Bulgaria, maybe not only in Bulgaria, but I saw this maybe a little bit as a joke. A company saying, so we offer the best quality, we offer the lowest price, and we offer the fastest delivery. And then they say you can pick 2 out of the 3. Now, the question is, can we really have the best quality at the best possible price and deliver it quicker than our competition? Where should be the focus if we want to succeed with our company? Shall we always sacrifice on the quality of the delivery in order to have a better cost or price for the customer?
Yeah, it's a kind of prejudice. People says they are thinking, because we are saying that in the Leen, we are on the way, we are on the journey of perfection. So on the journey of perfection, we don't believe there's a perfection, but we are trying to reach the perfection. So we are trying to be better than yesterday. So if we are better in quality than yesterday, we are in good day. If we are better in on-time delivery, so every time, all of them, we can compromise and go a better way. So that's why no problem is a big problem. If you are saying today, you are good, that what I learned in Toyota, there is no company who doesn't have problem there, but they are leaders who cannot see the problems. So that's why our job is to make them see the problem. So that's why every day you can improve. Is a journey to reach the perfection. That's why if you ask the Toyota, do you have a problem? Do you have issues? They say we are in terrible. We have too many problems to solve. So there's always the way to go.
Yeah. So the question, why focusing only on the cost is very wrong, or primarily as a first option, focusing on the cost is very wrong? Because I know that many businesses immediately when they have a problem start thinking of, I need to decrease cost, and this can be anything. So why isn't this a good advice?
So yeah, we can a little talk on this one. I don't know, you manage the time. So when I start,
yeah, I manage the time.
I may continue, so stop me.
Don't worry.
So I don't know how my English is being agreed, so I apologize from everybody that I cannot speak Bulgarian. So that's why I apologize. Please, I hope that they understand my English. So we speak with the companies. Why do you make lean? Why do you want to be leaner? So some of them says that okay. Some of them says we want to make lean to earn more money, or some of them says to be good in competitiveness, to sell more. So everybody, very limited people says that we heard that it's a good thing, we want to do it. But in the end, when you say why you would like to be, what does it mean to be competitive? And some companies says that we need to reduce costs to be competitive. So why you want to reduce costs? Because if we can reduce costs, we can sell more, we can earn more. But if you ask the customers why you don't buy this company's products, limited of them, even when they bargain, they say your cost is high. But if you go detail, when you say, they talk about quality, they talk about on-time delivery, and many other issues. So then, of course, at the end, we make business to earn money, to make investments and other things. But if you directly focus to cost, your behaviors change. Your behaviors totally change. For example, if you are making a production, for example, in certain time, if you are producing with 10 people, if you are producing 100 units, so that's you have an output. So if you can make the same number of units in the same time with 8 people, your efficiency improves. So with 8 people can produce 100, means 2 less people, you can make the same production. But at the same time, with 10 people, I can produce 125. It's same efficiency. It's the same improvement. So which is better? Actually, if you look at cost-wise, which is cheaper? So it's related, if you make this discussion, how you make it. First, in order to produce 125, I must sell 125. If I cannot sell, no meaning. But in order to sell, so that's why actually your cost is going down. You can sell more. But if let's assume the worst way. So when you speak with the accounting, if you produce 100 units with 8 people, so we have 2 more people. What shall we do? So if you say you take out from the line, then you can say you did a good saving. But still these people are in the company, they are earning still their salaries. If you ask your accounting, classical accounting, they will say, no, labor cost didn't change. But it's changed actually. Same number of production we are doing with 8 people. But they say, yes, you're right, but 2 more people still earning money in the company. So if it is only looking the cost reduction, what shall you do? You fire these 2 people. So you have 8 people producing 100. Then accounting is happy. They say, okay, cost is reduced. But at the same time, you give a message to the people that if you improve, you lose your job. So you directly give a message that tomorrow everything stops. Tomorrow everything stops. So this is related to how you are looking at it. Yes, we would like to reduce the cost, but not reduce number of people. So if you directly reduce them, so you give a totally different message to the organization. Even in the same thing, when you would like to reduce 2 people from line, you take out 2 people from out of the line, which people you take? If you ask the question to many people, most of the companies say that we take the lowest level people, less skilled people, we take out from the line. We do exactly opposite in Toyota. We take out the best people from line. The best people. Why we take the best people out of the line? To make more Kaizen. We use these people to make more Kaizen. Maybe with the help of these people, we can make the same production with 7 people. So, but still 3 people in the company. So that's why we use different accounting logic. So because this unused capacity, if you load onto the same product, the cost, you can say cost didn't change, but actually your cost is reduced. So if you can sell more, you don't need to recruit anybody else. You have 3 more people. Or if somebody leave, you have these people. And labor is not only the cost. You know, most of the companies, major cost is the material. So how do we reduce the material cost? Even we can discuss it. So in general, if you just classic way, if you go to that one, the first action is to pressurize on the suppliers through purchasing departments. But purchasing cannot control the cost. Who can control the cost? Product development. Because when you design the product, you design the cost actually. So no purchasing people can you reduce how many meter cable. If you use in the product, they cannot reduce the meter of the cable. They just use some bargaining. So we believe around 70–80% of the cost is produced in the product development, and purchasing has only limited effect by bargaining to this one. So if you make too much pressure to your bargaining, your supplier, you reduce the cost, yes, but next time you have quality problems. So customer is not happy. Customer is not happy. Customer doesn't buy your products. So, but in the Leen, we focus on the problems. So not directly cost, we focus on indirectly cost. What does it mean? We improve the quality. When you improve the quality, what happens? Not only customer satisfaction, your reworks reduced. Your inspection people, not value-adding people, reduced. You reduce number of controls. Ownership increase. People own the quality, or their ownership increase. Motivation increase. But we didn't target the cost. We target to reduce, to rework. We target to improve the quality, but as a result, we reduce the cost. So we try to reduce the stocks. People are very happy. Please reduce our stock. Why you want to reduce the stock? They say, but if you reduce the stock, our financial all cost structure, our finance becomes improved. Stock is the money. Yes, stock is the money. But we don't reduce the stock to improve your financial costs. Because when we reduce the cost, we reduce the stocks, we eliminate warehouse. We eliminate too many indirect processes. When we reduce the cost, we reduce the stock, problems become more visible. When we see the problem, we can improve productivity more. So we reduce the stock to see the problems, to see the abnormalities more. We save more money than stock value, actually. Because stock hides everything. But if you just focus on the financial things, people will have more logical explanations why these stocks are necessary. So we reduce the space. We reduce the space. So same production, we reduce half of the company. Yes, they say when you reduce the space half, So remaining half, we will not rent it. Still in the accounting, still remains, depreciation still over there. But when you reduce the space, your work in process stocks reduced. Problems become more visible. Your people start walking less. You have less space to hide the problems. Your reworks immediately become visible. So indirectly, you again reduce the cost. So that's why just focusing the cost, reduce our vision, make us very direct visible, attacking to direct visible things, but we lose many invisible areas. So I know many custom companies, they focus with the purchasing, they work with their supplier cost. So, but suppliers are as clever as you are. Next time, they change their prices, and every time because they have to earn money, they will survive. So you pressurize more, they hide more. So if you have a big safe door for theft, so theft will have a special key to open the safe door. So countermeasure becomes it. But Toyota works in a different way. Toyota works with their supplier together. They reduce cost and they share cost. So your supplier knows that. We have to reduce the cost, but I know that Toyota will help me to reduce the cost. So they work together. So we create a win-win condition. So just as a summary, when you just focus the cost, we lose our vision and we stay on the surface. We cannot change the culture. And main elements of the cost remains in the company. That's why Toyota never, if you ask Toyota, why do you make DPS? Of course, they say to reduce the cost. But you can ask them, so if you give the same question, if you reduce number of people, say, no, we don't reduce number of people. We don't fire anybody else. So with the same people, we try to produce more. We want to sell more. That's why if you, from this perspective, Toyota has 4 or 5 times less labor in the same car according to competition. So we don't focus the cost, but we reduce the cost in the end. I don't know if it's a good answer or not.
No, absolutely. That was a very, very interesting and very good, really the Лийн perspective that I was also aware of, and hopefully for the people this was interesting to hear and to realize what you were saying, because you were saying this not because you have read it in the books, but because you have seen it in the companies multiple times. There is this, I remember the times when I was a student back in Germany, and as part of the business administration courses, they were talking about this magic triangle, which is quality, cost, and delivery. And it was always about the relation between those three. And now when you were talking about the material cost and how important it is to reduce the material cost by improving the product and reducing the rework, this not only improves the quality, which is one part of this magic triangle, but it also decreases the delivery time, because we are creating a much better flow to the customer. And then at the end, it's a win-win situation, because the cost goes down, the product goes quicker to the customer, and then the quality is as high as possible.
And also, you cannot measure everything with the legal classical accounting system, because if I ask the companies, reducing the lead time, production lead time is a good thing. They say, yes, very good. Does customer happy? Yes, it's very happy with this one. So what is the cost of 1 day reduction? Nobody can calculate it. If it is good, we need to calculate. What if you ask the companies, if a material shortage, what is the cost of material shortage? They don't know it. So if you work with the supplier in this way, you will have many shortage, and your deliveries will go longer and longer time. But financially, you can have different costs. So if you produce more, if with the same hour, if you produce more than what you need, your cost can go down on the paper. But you will have a huge stock. In reality, your cost is increased, but on the paper, you don't see it. Then you feel yourself happy. That's why you can go to batch production. All indirect systematic will increase in the end. But when you understand, you create a different behavior at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. I would encourage the people to ask questions. Use the Q&A. It's a great opportunity if you have a question to ask Jevdet. I can see that currently Vladimir has put two very positive comments. Thank you, Vladimir. But please also ask some questions. Now it's a good time. In the meantime, Jevdet, I have one more question for you.
Yeah.
Maybe you've been in a situation where you go to a company, a customer of yours, for the first time, Gemba, and you go to the production shop floor, and then you're talking to the general manager, and they're only talking to you about, we need to decrease the cost. We benchmark with our competitor. We are way behind, so we are not competitive at all. Our costs are very high. We need to decrease cost. So is there a recipe from your experience, a first place where you would like to look at to start removing the waste and decreasing the cost? What would be the place you would start looking in the very beginning when somebody is just obsessed with cost and you need to change this mindset a little bit and make sure that this...
Actually, cost is a visible problem. It doesn't mean a real problem. And it doesn't mean the root cause. So if we have a cost problem, we need to analyze. So put the head of fish. We have a cost problem. Then what are the bones? Which bones are causing this cost? So why this cost is happening? What type of cost is high? So you cannot say our cost is high. Is our production cost is high? Is our product cost is high? Or is our indirect costs are high? So even when you say costs are high, they may be right. But what does it mean? Which cost is high? And why is high? Why you have too much indirect cost? And which area of this indirect cost is happening? Then why are they happening? So that's why when it's a problem solving.
Yeah.
So cost high is a visible problem. So we need to find the real problem, and we need to go through why, and we need to find the root cause. Why this is happening? If we have too much indirect cost, so where they are locating, if it's locating in warehouses, if it's locating in a maintenance, if they are locating in, for example, in quality department. So why we have too many people in quality department? Because our product quality is bad. That's why we have too much inspection. So why do we need too much inspection? Because our product, we don't have the building quality. So we come to the same results. So that's why even we have a cost issue, please don't jump into decision. Follow the problem solving rules. Find what is the root causes. Why my material cost is very high? Is my engineers staying on safe side? Do we have commonality problem? Every product is different. So we need to understand why this is happening.
Yeah.
So we need to understand what are the main reasons of the cost to understand. If it's our labor cost is high, so it can be labor cost is high because our laborers are lazy, our managers are bad, or maybe your product is difficult to assemble. That's why it takes more labor. So we have the same activity in another automotive company. After Toyota, when I worked there, I understand that we have 4 times more labor. It's not only people are lazy, because in the same country, same thing, because the product is more difficult to produce.
Yeah.
We need to understand the root cause.
Thank you. Now questions from the group here, because I see we have 15 minutes, so very quickly, if we can go through them as well. So Mario is asking how can you turn a headwind into a tailwind so that you do not cut costs but turn the headwind into an opportunity by analysis and visionary thinking?
This is what I shortly explained the root cause, this kind of analysis, and of course we have to show them. So seeing is believing. We have to show them this is working. Everybody, if they would like to quitting cigarette or losing weight without any effort is not possible. So we have to see it. We have to make an effort, but we have to show them why this effort is logical and it is working. We have to show some examples. Yeah. We have to show them some examples and some calculations. So I believe we can convince any owners by showing how much they are losing. So by talking, we cannot convince them, but we can show them how much they are losing. We can convince them by showing how much they are losing. If you can show how much they are losing, you can make them get any decisions.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. There is a question that Vladimir is asking, and he's asking the question, he's asking me, but I would like to pass it to you because I already elaborated a little bit on that, and I think your perspective will be very valuable. So we had a webinar recently, which was about Лийн crisis, and then I was talking about how important it is not to start firing people in the crisis just because you're in crisis. So first thing is fire people. You already said quite a lot on this one, and the question in particular is how about a company that has way too many management layers and layers overall? Such a company has to fire people if they want to remain competitive and survive the COVID-19 reality we live in. But how would such a company turn a workforce reduction into a positive thing? Because it will be a positive, it will be a positive and necessary thing.
Yeah, it's not easy thing, but what we believe in the COVID, we talk that people should have the immune system. If your immune system is good, strong, you can deal with the COVID. So this is what doctors are saying. But companies has their immune system. So that's why we need to understand what is the immune system of the companies. So we need to understand what is their immune system. So one of the strong things is the companies is the human capital. Their competitive advantage is the human capital. Of course, is the volume is reducing. Companies are saying that what can we do? So even in our consultancy, some companies immediately say that, let's stop it. We need to cut costs. So, but half of the companies who are stopping the activities, a few weeks later, they return back and they say, no, we said let's stop, but we need to continue. We need to improve it more. So what do we do? What do we suggest to the companies? First, if you would like to just the cost reduction or something, start from your salaries. Share the cost structure overall. You can, whole company, starting from management, can reduce their salaries instead of firing. So it's unfair. You are giving a message that people are more valuable than you. So in the Лийн, the respect is more critical. So that's why we can carry the load all together. And second thing is that we can work with the people to reduce cost more. So to create a competitive advantage more. So in many companies we start collecting more ideas with the people. We start focusing the product cost reduction activities in the companies. Some companies, we bring the competitor. We tear down the product. Every product, all labor, all clever, the best people, we work together how to reduce the product cost together, not only designer. In assembly line operators, in welding operators, everybody work together how to reduce the cost. So that's why to make the human capital more stronger and to be ready for out of the COVID. case, because everybody this time is not only our weakness. Everybody has the same condition. That's why we first suggest, first focus your immune system. What is your weaknesses? Is it the number of people, your weakness?
Jevdet, I think we're losing the connection.
Reducing number of people, focus more your weak points. Improve your immune system. And create a strong relation, because when the COVID stops, we have to run faster than competitor.
Yeah. And I believe last question, Jevdet, thank you very much. Just for the sake of the time, John Moody is saying, culture and politics often get in the way of improvements. Any advice to help change culture, to get buy-in from leadership, to invest in uncovering root causes behind problems? And he says, hard to have fact-based discussion if there is no willing to realize there is a problem to look into.
Of course, this is top management's view is very critical here. If top management also cannot see the problem, cannot support it, it's very difficult. So if top management is aware of the problem, most of the case we are saying it. So that's why we work with them to see the real problem. We do, as support, as consultants, we work together to make them see the problem. That's what I'm doing today with my customers. We work together to make them see the problem. Then after they understand the real problem, then we create problems. So that's the role of the management. So that's why when we clearly say sometimes people get angry with me, but if you say, if you have a problem, you are lucky. If you don't have a problem, please create problem. So we create problems, not to judge the people, to strengthen the people. So because we understand, we become ready for the war, not the wartime. We become ready for the war during the peacetime. So that's why we are showing the companies, this war will finish, but the peacetime, we must be ready. So by supporting them, by mentoring them, working together, holding their hand to hand, we want to change their behaviors. In every top management role, create problem and support their people to change their behaviors. So it's working together is required.
Thank you very much. And one question that I believe that some people might be asking themselves right now, after all those things that you shared, if some of the participants would like to embark on their continuous improvement journeys, what would be your advice for them? Do they need to start with a training? Do they need to start with a book? If book, what book? Should they go Gamba and start solving some problems or learning to identify them?
Yeah, of course, they need to get the basic knowledge. They need to get the training, but trainings on the paper, trainings in the classroom doesn't add any value. That's why we have to focus on the necessary trainings, but we need to understand what is our major problem, which problem we are trying to solve. And we need to get the basic trainings and start focusing on the critical problems. And call unknown, request help when you need. And the major thing is that never give up. There will be many difficulties. It's not an easy thing, but start from the main problems, main obstacles, and never give up. Move every day one step ahead. So it's a learning process. It's a people development. So get the basic training and continue to improvement from starting main problem with the pilot activities.
I think it's a very valuable piece of advice, because many people do trainings, but they don't follow up on trainings. And in the case of Лийн, training and practice, they go together. And
no practice, no output is a waste of time.
Exactly.
You can write only your CV.
Absolutely. That's why I believe the Lean Practitioner program that we launched together is so successful, because it's learning by doing. So with every piece of information, you also go Gamba and you start doing something. And
we will start another one in Bulgaria. Maybe they can join to our LPP next modules.
Yeah, but probably in September we can launch it. And of course, if people are interested, I'll be very happy to have more of the participants working or learning from you and from myself in the new program that we'll be launching. And I think that there was just, because we have several minutes, and there was just one question at the end. Jevdet? Okay,
yeah, I'm here, yeah. I'm just waiting for the question.
Oh yeah, sorry. So the last question that I can see here waiting also for you is, when you implement Lean, what is a good level of gain in percentage?
It's related with which level you are.
Right.
So there's no limit of percent. I can give the answer. Toyota 2 years ago started TNGA 2.0. So we visit the best Toyota plants, best Toyota suppliers. They are working with Toyota with the TNGA approach. The best Toyota suppliers, after this activity, they save 42% efficiency, 50% investment reduction, 70% space reduction. And I'm sure they can do double more. So,
yeah, depends on the maturity of the company.
Starting is first activity we reduce half.
Yeah.
First step, but you can triple it more.
And I can add to that, back in the time when I was working for Porsche Consulting, 2011 was it, or 2013, but they were giving example of Porsche that decreased the cost for the production of a Porsche by 77% from 1993-4, when it was the big crisis at Porsche, until that moment. And then obviously in the beginning it was a very big step, because the processes were very immature, they're very chaotic, so it was a very big jump. But then of course the better the company was becoming in that journey, the harder it was to make great improvements. So I think also to the person asking the question, it really, what Jevdet said, it really depends where you are. If you are at the top, like what we call Six Sigma level, it's very hard to make a huge improvement. Obviously, you need to continue with the small steps to improve further.
And yeah, for this kind of companies, if they think that we don't have the opportunity, so we can visit them.
Of course, right. Thank you very much, Jevdet, for this session. It was extremely an honor to have you with all of us to share.
Okay, I hope it is useful for the people. I'm very much pleased. I'm ready to support the Bulgaria Лийн Institute. So we are neighbors. Komshu. So anytime, welcome. I'm very happy to be in Bulgaria and work with the Bulgarian people with the Лийн Bulgarian Institute.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So, thank you.
Have a good evening. Thank you. And
thank you. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Also, thank you to all the participants. It was really nice to have you. I hope it was very interesting for you to learn from Jevdet. If you're interested in some of the programs that Jevdet is working with the Лийн Institute Bulgaria, please connect with us through the website. We have several new programs now running for IT, for services, for manufacturing, plus the Lean Practitioner program, which is, I would say, a very thorough and very in-depth program to go into all the details of Lean with practice at the end. So thank you very much once again, and see you in the next webinar 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, I'm seeing some people. I work in the GKN in China as well, in the Fokker in Turkey. Yes.
Yeah, I saw some.
Yes, yeah. It's good. Good.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.